Hi, Scott Walker here reading my poetry. You may be wondering why I'm wearing a t-shirt with Dire Emergency on. I'm presently supporting the men and women of the New Zealand Fire Service who are taking industrial action about pay and conditions and the replacement of old and outdated equipment. I had the privilege as an ex-fireman to go on the picket line with some of the men and women from Napier Fire Station recently, and of course I had to write a little poem about it, and I'd like to share it with you. I'm a yesterday fireman, standing proudly on the picket line at the corner of Carlisle and Georges Drive, boot to boot with unionists defiant and determined to give us strong kaha tapatahi. Our fire service is broken, Fens no longer fit to lead. Once world class, now that's back in the past. A fire service smouldering through lack of oxygen, an explosive backdraft about to happen. Management not prepared to do a deal, slowly begin to fall asleep at the wheel. Broken fire trucks off the run, old equipment tired and worn, our firefighters, men and women, underpaid and forgotten. They deserve far more, a fairer contract for those who answer every call when danger's real. Our homes and businesses now at risk, Russian roulette the game they are forced to play. Professional firefighters, unsung heroes, their time for talk is almost done. Now it's time for us, the community, to say enough, enough. Stop the bullshit and the crap. We're taking the New Zealand Fire Service back. My second poem is something that I wrote some time ago. It's called The Rain, and it's about a very close friend that passed away far too young, and I wrote this poem about her. I feel the rain as if for the first time, God's wet kiss to his loving creation. Sadness and joy swell up in me, like a river replenished heading home to the sea. Clouds open and pour out their love on a blessed land. The feeling soft and warm upon my face. Trees and flowers lift their faces to the sky with lips ready to receive. Rain inside me once held back releases, tumbles forth, unexpected, unexplained, unacknowledged. Eyes glaze and sting through thoughts of yesterday's things. Happiness and sorrow rolled up into a ball, a fountain of sweet tears I swallow deep. Memories come back to me of a summer storm, walking down a well-trodden path with a girl long forgotten. Hand in hand, the rhythmic tapping of the rain, breaking an awkward silence between two friends, not yet lovers. The next poem was also written when I was just starting poetry, and about growing up and how sometimes you do things that you probably shouldn't do to attract young ladies, and this is one of those situations. It's called Skydiving. 1975, I turned 18. You hung with me and my two bros, a blonde girl, tight jeans, not yet 17. Friday nights after work, shared a jug, gin, squash and lemonade at the Angus Inn. Boys talking shit and listening to the band. Girl, didn't you know the power was in your hands? At 18, that's as hard as it gets. Boys ruled by their heads. Not until 35 they discover their minds. My old man once said, when it comes to women, there's only the quick and the dead. Realizing my death was imminent, one bro had already painted a picture of himself as part of the surf life-saving club, the other a competent scuba diver. I could see the metaphor of going down brought a smile to your face. Throwing caution to the wind, I said the very first thing that came into my head. I'm a skydiver. I'm skydiving at Bridge Pa next week. You could have cut the air with a butcher's knife. My satisfaction was complete. My bros could never compete. I drove you home that night in my new Vauxhall Viva 1.5. You told me I was brave, had no fear of death. You kissed me and did that amazing thing with your tongue right there in the drive until your mum came out and said, "Girl, it's now time to come inside." Backed into a corner, there was nowhere left to hide. 2 weeks later, with parachutes strapped to my back, I rode the Cherokee 8,000 feet up into the sky. Thought to myself, fuck, I'm about to die. Who said pride comes before a fall? Or was that before a girl? I'm not sure anymore. Like a bird on a wire attached to a static line, the instructor said go. Did he push or did I jump? Too late to change my mind. The wind was taking me on a wild ride, and for a brief moment I knew I could fly. Well, that gives you a little bit of idea of some of the poems I write. I'll be back shortly and add a few more to the list. Have a great day.